Please welcome psychic medium John Edwards.
Why are you so excited?
Oh, I used to watch John's show as a kid. I used to love it. It was so it's amazing to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to be here. It's great to see you again.
So good to see you too, but look, we know you speak to dead people.
Right.
But come on, we've still got another week left on the show.
Yeah.
You didn't predict us.
No.
Okay.
You're not here feeling anything from Hey Hey It's Saturday other than... No, it's just us. Okay, now, John, it's such an honour to... I grew up watching you, so it's fantastic. You're coming back later in the year to do a big nationwide tour, which is fantastic. Everyone should get tickets. But are you feeling anything from anyone at the desk right now?
Not at the moment. Oh. Not at the moment.
I mean, I could have done that.
Yeah.
As we continue to ask questions, could things just
I'll tell you why, because if I wind up reading for a host of a show and I get something that's private and personal that is not, this is not taped, it's live, and it's not something that somebody wants to discuss publicly, you're going to say no. So I've had that experience.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
On radio many
Mate, I'm an open
years
book,
ago.
so go crazy.
That's usually what they say. That's usually what they say.
Until,
yeah. And I was reading for a very Christian conservative host of a radio show, and he said, you know, I have legacy in the marketplace. You know, my audience knows everything about me. And I said, okay. And he was being like very, very difficult. And then during the commercial break, I said, does your audience know you decided not to have a fifth child and terminate the pregnancy? Oh. And he looked at me and was like, no. And I was like, and if I would have said that on the air, what would you have said? He goes, I would have had to lie because my mother-in-law listens to the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
How does connecting with the afterlife work for you? Or, like, what do you experience?
So whatever I see, hear, and feel, I kind of interpret it in my frame of reference and then explain what it is that I'm saying. So this way, in case I'm not interpreting something correctly, the person that I'm reading for will go, well, that's my family. I know what they're trying to say. So it's kind of how that, like, their energy is beamed onto mine, and then I just describe what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing and what does that image look like.
How can you determine whether it's genuinely something that you are feeling or something that's coming to you from somewhere else? Is it very clear that, like, this is something that's running through me? It is really, really clear because it's coming at you. So it's like, if I was reading for somebody in the audience, I would be able to tell you what part of the audience I was feeling it from because it actually comes from a certain place. And I could say, no, it's not for them, it's over there. Do you ever get to the point where you're like, I'm sick of this, I just want to turn it off? Like, well, can you turn it off?
Yeah, you have to.
You can't.
Like, if I'm just at a restaurant, I'm not open because I don't want to pick up on somebody else's stuff. If nobody's asking me to do this, then it's none of my business. Because you have to allow yourself to be open. And it's never appropriate to enter someone's vibration without their consent.
And you never get sick of it, though, when you're doing it?
I really don't. It's when you see the lights go on for someone and you're able to make a connection with their family and friends and they see their validity, like they're something else, there's no greater feeling.
So this idea of being able to speak to other dimensions, other worlds, cavorting with the spirits.
Cavorting?
Yeah. I like that verb. There's something about the verb I love.
He's dramatic.
I just find
I feel like I'm in a smart person sandwich.
I'm just wrapped I got that word out on commercial TV. That's not very common. With that sort of thing, that civilizations have been talking about that sort of thing for a long time. But one of the perhaps traditional approaches to it is that's not a world you want to open. That there's something dangerous about it. That there's a separation for a reason. That we just shouldn't be going there. And certainly a lot of traditional religion has that.
Right, but that's the key. That's a religious framework where it kind of does that. I kind of look at it as being energetic, right? If we are looking at it as a vibrational frequency, it's in the body, it's going to be a lower frequency, and out of the body, it's going to vibrate at a higher frequency. Think about a helicopter on the ground. You can count the blades, but a helicopter rotating really quickly up in the sky, you can't see the blades. But yet you logically know that they're there because it's keeping that up. I
understand, but to extend the metaphor, let's just keep playing with it. You don't put your hand where the blades are. You know what I mean? Like, was there any part of you that was thinking at any point, maybe I shouldn't? Maybe I shouldn't approach?
Not really. No. I mean, I come from a Catholic upbringing where it's like certain people within the church would say, like, this is a no-no, and, like, you know, quoting aspects of the Bible. But again, that's looking at it through a religious framework. So I can only go by what I've experienced. So I went the opposite direction. I went to the University of Arizona and did double-blind studies to show the validity of this is not like reading body language or mind reading and showing, because every time you did something scientific, you had to like replicate and extend the data points. So that was the direction I wanted to go, because I wanted to push the ability. I wanted to understand how far can I push this? How much better can I get at it? And I still want to do that. And it's 40 years in.
Wow. So when people cross over, have you ever had, I mean, exorcist style kind of.
No. It's not cavorting, but it's a pretty good word.
Well, I know. I'm talking about spitting heads, but if you, like, when you do open that kind of threshold, can you have?
I've honestly never had, and if I did, I would say it. I would be like, okay, we got to be careful about this, or I haven't had that. And I think one of the things that my goal is to let people know that nobody needs me. Not one person watching this show needs a reading. Not one person needs to go get a reading. What they need to do is have an understanding that there's a survival of consciousness, that life and love are eternal, and that you can make your own connections with your loved ones and friends. And that helps people navigate grief, to know that if you lost a child or a parent or a grandparent, whoever that person is, time doesn't matter, because there's love. And where there's love, there's connection. And that's what I want people to know. And then to kind of say the things you have to say while you're here in this lifetime, so that you don't need somebody like me to do it for you.
Yeah, because I've seen you in this studio read people on a number of occasions, and it's quite mind-blowing to watch. So what would you say to skeptics who say, oh, it's all baloney?
Watch me. That's what I've said. You know, and then once you kind of go down the path of like, you know, this is not what they call cold reading. This is not, like, if you try to bring up that there were double-blind studies done, then they attack the scientist. So it's like there are 20% of the population is going to believe nothing. There's going to be, and that scares me, 20% of the population is going to believe everything. That scares me more. And then most people land somewhere in the middle. And I think if you're looking at validation, that's important. I feel like I'm more skeptical than a lot of the people that come to see me. I think it's important to apply a healthy sense of critical thinking in the world that we're living in. Like, I think it's really important to look for validation. And that's the way I try to read, with information, not performative emotion.
Watch Me is a great answer, considering you have a tour coming up as well, I think.
That was a very nice segue.
Yeah, I love it.
I should hug you.
Absolutely. Bring me along.
What's the biggest thing you've learned from like 4 decades of basically speaking to people who are experiencing some kind of grief, and often a lot of loss, regret, all of those kind of emotions?
That they don't want us to live our lives for them in the way that they would when they were here. That we have to work on our lessons. Like, why are we here? What are we learning? And how do we move forward with them as we're learning those lessons?
And do you get a sense from a lot of people that like talk to you, that want to talk to somebody on the other side, that a lot of people in the here and now just aren't having the conversations that they should be having right now?
That is very true. I think people take time for granted. They always think that they're going to have more time. When someone's diagnosed with an illness, they don't have the conversations that are significant and important. They kind of stand on positive principles of, we're going to get through this, even though you might not. So I think it's always important to say the things.
One last question, very quickly, before we go. I know you can talk to dead people. You can sort of see the future as well. Do you think I will get another job?
I do.
Really?
I do.
Okay, fantastic.
I do.
Can you give me a hint where I need to go?
I think you might even work outside of Australia.
Really? I didn't even know there was outside of Australia. This is exciting. Second part to my question, can you help find lost AirPods?
Yep. No.
I'm on
I think they have an app for that.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, okay, exciting.
Sammy's going global, people.
I'm going to go to the airport and say I'm ready.
You didn't say what the job was.
Yeah. John's nationwide tour, it kicks off in October. All the info is on our website. Go see him as extraordinary. Would you please thank John Edwards?